And Dan Maloney, the Barrie native, starred for the London Knights on a team that also included Darryl Sittler before becoming the first pick, 14th overall of the Chicago Blackhawks in 1970. He had stops in Los Angeles and Detroit before being traded to the Maple Leafs March 78 in a big trade that included Errol Thompson and 2 first-round picks going to the Red Wings. The Wings would subsequently select Mike Blaisdell and Brent Peterson. Maloney would play 4 full seasons in a Leaf uniform before retiring in 1982. And he joins us tonight as part of Leaf Classics because it's October the 10th, 1981. That's a few years ago, Danny. And this is a team that has gone through tremendous upheaval over the last couple of seasons. It's the second go-around with Punch Imlach at the reins. And it's obviously a team that is in a lot of disarray. And when you start 3 kids that young on defense, you're looking for disaster.
Well, it was the team had the program we're going to build through the draft, and they really tried. And when I got there as a player in 1977 or 78, whenever it was, Jimmy Gregory had done a great job of assembling a great bunch of players and a group of guys who could really work hard and play behind a great leader like Darryl. Now, Punch came in, and it was going to be a new way because that's the way Punch always did things, and God bless him, he took and run it and took a good shot at it. But now we're rebuilding under a new regime and building through the draft. Starting with 3 kids on defense is a tough story. And as you'll see in this game as it goes, Joe, it's going to be the kiddie core against probably a very, very experienced hockey team with probably 5 or 6 centers on that team that could have played any team in the league.
Yeah, and a lot of them, and because there wasn't enough room at center, they're playing wing.
They're playing wing and everywhere.
Sharpley is an excellent example.
Sharp is playing right wing. Reggie Kerr's playing left wing. You know, Tommy Lyzak's getting in and out. These guys are great players. I mean, good, really high picks.
Goaltending for the Maple Leafs. Michel Bunny Larocque comes over from Montreal, where he has ostensibly been the backup goaltender on a very, very good team. He is now the #1 guy in Toronto, and Vincent Tremblay, who's going to be a part of this. It was a bit of an eye-opening experience for both, I would think.
Well, you know, Bunny did a great job in the opening game, and certainly we had a win and a tie coming back home. And Mike decided to put Vinny in. And Vinny was a kid who tried hard and really did a great job. There's a lot of these goals you're going to see, and God bless him, they weren't all his fault. I mean, there were deflections or whatever the case may be, or someone should have been at A and they were at B, and it should have been the case may be. But you look at the other end of the rink, Tony Esposito's down there, all-star, Hall of Famer, Canada Cup guy, great goalkeeper, and he had one of those nights too. So it was last shot wins.
So it's going to be an interesting night. The Leafs are playing the Chicago Blackhawks on October the 10th, 1981. It's an interesting start in this one. The Maple Leafs score early on a goal by Borje Salming and lead 2-1 after a period. Dan Maloney is our guest on Leaf Classics tonight, and if there is a classic, real classic in this game, it's wearing sweater number 27. Darryl Sittler has since graduating from junior, where you played with him with the London Knights, and you had to know even then this was a very special, talented individual.
Darryl had the ability to break games, make that big play, or score the big goal. But his greatest power was playing under any circumstances in any kind of a game, because there wasn't very many guys that wanted to play against Darryl Sittler. And he wasn't a vocal guy. He just went out and played and did a great job. And it was a very trying time for the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, because the turmoil, the undercurrents, wherever the case may be at that time, were very difficult for him. And this guy wanted to retire a Maple Leaf, be a Maple Leaf. He had a Maple Leaf, and he still does. Have one stamped, you know where. And it was a great pleasure playing with him in junior and playing with him in pro.
Lanny McDonald has been traded. There's obviously a line drawn in the sand, if you will, by Punch Imlach, with him on the one side, Darryl on the other. Was the dressing room divided at all that way, Danny?
Well, the dressing room wasn't divided, but there was a vacancy. Put it that way. We had lost a great presence and a great friendship. These guys played off one another like you wouldn't believe, and they're still very, very dear friends. And the fact of the matter, Punch had come back, and there was the Eagleson situation and Punch situation, and you know something was going to have to suffer, win, lose, or draw, and the team suffered. And it was unfortunate, because not only that year, we lost Lanny, we lost Patty Boutet, we lost Tiger, and Butler, and a bunch of guys who were character guys on the team we had. You know, good, really good National Hockey League players, not stars, but very good National Hockey League players.
So the Maple Leafs lead 2-1. Looks like it's a little who touches the puck last tonight as the Leafs open their regular season homestand at Maple Leaf Gardens. And the fans have waited all summer to get a piece of Ian Turnbull, and they are making sure they've done it. Now, you're no stranger to the Gardens crowd kind of turning on you, because when you were traded for, Danny, it was at a big price, and Errol Thompson was a crowd favorite. 2 first-round draft picks didn't mean anything. They expect a great deal out of their players, and the Leaf crowd can be very, very vicious at times.
Well, they can be themselves, and you know what? I still say they're the greatest fans in the National Hockey League, and anyone can boast whatever they want. But this special night, they got on Ian, and can I say to you that it was totally unjust? I mean, Ian is a great player, was a great player, whatever the case may be, and this night he was doing everything humanly possible to be a great player again. And I've seen him play at his best, and I've seen him play at his worst, but this wasn't the night when he deserved it, and they were giving it to him pretty good. And it's one of those things, you just kind of look at it and figure it out, and don't let it get to you, just keep moving and carry on.
Now, you hear players say, you know, in the heat of the game and everything else, I don't hear the crowd. I'm just so in a zone that I'm able to concentrate and everything else. Is that the case? You have to be able to hear this, and it has to hurt. I don't care who you are.
Joe, let me put it to you this way. When the puck's coming to you and they're booing, now you know you got a problem.
So in other words, you do hear it.
And they tell you what, the puck's 50 feet away, you go, oh boy, we got a problem here.
Well, Ian Turnbull and the Maple Leafs are in a shootout, and the booing has started, even from one of his teammates. You just heard it. You're watching Molson Canadian Maple Leaf Classic. Let's go back to the action. We are back here with Dan Maloney after 2 periods of play and a 6-6 tie. Danny, Mike Nicoluk is entrusted with having to mold this very young defense and this team that is obviously going through a huge transition. Enough turmoil to last, well, a decade almost, and coming over from Philadelphia, where he was an assistant coach with Fred Shero. Tell us a little bit about Mike, and what kind of things was he trying to do to try and get you away to be focused and everything?
Mike was probably one of the nicest men I ever met in my time of playing hockey, and the guy was a knowledgeable hockey guy, and he had his way of doing things. You know, often guys coached by the whip or by the sword or by the regimen or by the calculated way. Mike let guys play, and if you played the way you're supposed to, you got to play a lot. And it was just as simple as that. And he, a very honest individual. And he was dealt a hand out, as we can say, of a team that was coming through turmoil, not from turmoil from the point of view of the business, but they'd taken a bit of the guts and the bowels out of a hockey team, and he had to rekindle and reinstill that. And he did that with a lot of guys. He gave guys a lot of time, a lot of chance, and you take a look at like Walter Podubny, you take a look at Miroslav Fritcher, Peter Inishuk. He gave these guys a chance, and these guys were good players for Toronto while they were here. And it was very hard for him because his captain was doing his absolute best to be himself, but he was struggling, and certainly his heart was broken, and it was a tough thing for him. It really was.
Danny, it's a team that's looking for some direction, and unfortunately it can't come really from the people that should be doing the directing, maybe, because Darryl's wings are being clipped. He's going to be traded later on this season. It's a situation where this team is at times rudderless, I think. Is that a fair assessment?
It was a very tough situation, and Mike was, you could say that, sailing a ship without a rudder, and he did a great job, and he did a great job with the press, he did a great job with the guys, and he challenged us all in his own way, and certainly, you know, Darryl was traded later on. Here's a guy that did not want to leave Toronto. Here's a guy that wanted to be a Maple Leaf and be the captain forever. And having said that, he did get traded, unfortunately, and we lost another great character and a great spirit. But one of the nicest things I've seen happen in hockey, and I thought it was a great move by Cliff Fletcher, was to bring Darryl Sittler back here. because it is very important to this town that he come back.
And he does, and he plays an integral role in the Leaf front office
Absolutely.
even to this day. And so the Leafs and the Blackhawks are in a shootout. Borje Salming has completed a hat trick, and an amazing athlete. I guess that's about the only thing you can say. I think he could have picked up a racket, a baseball bat, anything, and within a week been a world-class player at it, because he was just a natural athlete, and unlike you and I, there wasn't an ounce of fat on the man.
The guy was a gifted individual, and he had the heart of a champion. And we look at great players winning and doing great things. It was very unfortunate that the likes of Borje Salming never got to play on a Stanley Cup hockey team, because this guy was a champion. And if you could pattern to play after him, it would be very difficult, because he just was himself. Mm-hmm. I seen him play left wing and defense all the same shift, and he was very good at both.
Pretty well.
And he was good in both positions, and cover everything, and still get back, and play like a goaltender, play like a defenseman, play like a centerman, and there was no no in him. It was just like, put me on there, I'm going. And
he gave of himself as far as helping the youngsters. And here's a situation on this team that's a perfect example, obviously. You're in a shootout. He has just scored 2 goals to make it 8-6. He's not on the ice for a single goal against in the game. And this guy is and playing with some young kids too.
Yeah. If you can remember, Joe, when he first came in the league, and I was playing with LA and I played with Detroit at the time, when it wasn't a nice place for a European player to play. I mean, it was, the old stigma was there, like there were very few Europeans, and if there ever was a guy that led the way and played come hell or high water, this guy played.
And time and time again, in tough series against Philadelphia and
Oh,
various
absolutely.
other ones, there was never anything that shied Borje Salming away from the task at hand.
No quitting this guy.
No.
I mean, he was a champion.
And he's an icon to this day in Sweden, and one of the major reasons why the doors have opened.
As he well should be.
Absolutely. Borje Salming having a terrific night. Let's go back to more of the action with Bob Cole. Everything's going past Tony Esposito, and you didn't get a goal or an assist.
Well, I had lots of shots, Joe, but you know what, things just weren't going in, and probably one of the greatest players of the 70s and early 80s was Daryl Sittler. I think he only snuck in 1 or 2 points.
Well, there
I
you
didn't
are.
feel all too bad. I was playing in a defensive mode.
Yeah, yes. What was your plus minus, do you remember?
Oh, no,
We don't get into
let's
that.
not get into that right
No.
now, please.
Danny, we want to thank you for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure to see you, and good luck with your endeavors up in the Barrie area.
We've had great fun, Joe.
Yes,
Thank
we
you.
have. Danny Maloney, our very special guest. Leaf Classics. Well, I don't know if it was a classic that the Hockey Hall of Fame would want to play every night, but it was a memorable night at the Gardens. The Leafs beat the Hawks 9-8 in their home opener.